All right, we're back here on my channel, and I'm very excited to have a special guest here today. Amber from Boca Raton, born and raised in this city. Ever since I landed about 4 years ago, Amber has been one of my first friends here in the city. She's the owner of Flamingo House. It's actually where Media Components has their Boca Raton headquarters. And Amber has so many things going on. Before we dive into some of her exciting projects, just to give you a little bit of a background. Amber, I know you were born and raised in Boca Raton. Your parents used to work for IBM. Can you give my viewers and listeners just a little bit of background?
On this great city?
On this great city. We're sitting here at Sanborn Square, and we actually worked on a lot of mutual projects together, but give us a little bit of a background into your story before we dive in.
This park is Sanborn Square. It's a very historic park. Born and raised on the mean streets of Boca Raton. My dad did work at IBM, and just fun fact, IBM is where the first PC was made. And back in the day, Boca Raton used to be hot air balloons coming over my house, landing in the farmland and on the strawberry picket farms, and now it's grown to be a beautiful city. I say it's 4 exits on the highway. That's how big Boca Raton has grown to be. It's a nice city where there's airport, there's colleges, there's just a lot of activity. So I loved working with you on a project actually in this park right here in Sanborn Square. And then we didn't have a budget for something, so I was like, hey, can you throw something together on AI and do this scene in this park? And it came out great, so thank you for that.
Yeah, let's cue the AI couple dancing tango on the square. I mean, it's amazing what you can do with AI. We'll get in a little bit about it, but Amber, Boca Raton is really transforming. Like you mentioned, it was just farmland with pineapples, with strawberries, and now it's a full-blown city that is bringing a lot of talent, a lot of companies from New York. There's a lot of startups here. You have a really cool business, which is a trendy co-working space, and you have people from Airbnb, Uber. What are some companies that are working out of your place?
Yeah, the Flamingo House was called the Flamingo House because flamingos and businesses do better together than they do alone. And some of the companies that we have out of the space, along with the freelancers and marketing and brand media production people and all types of freelancers, are Lululemon. We have Snapchat, Airbnb, software engineers that work out there, a lot of tech companies, $100 million tech company that works out of there. So, they can have their own office, but they do realize and understand that working together in an environment where you see other people hustling. Dennis is on the phone in the phone booth. He's in the conference room with clients. He's running around. So it's really contagious.
Cool, you can get out of your house. You can work with like-minded people. I like it because it's very trendy. You have transparent glass offices. Really trendy place, not only to the office, but also I bring my clients to the conference room and do things out of the place. But you never know who you're gonna meet. Like you said, people from Snapchat, from Airbnb, from Lululemon. So it's a cool, trendy co-working space. If you're looking for a space in Boca Raton, not only can you get your mailbox, you can get your dedicated office in downtown Boca Raton. That's what I really like. And it's really good for SEO as well. I was able to verify Google business profile, and now we're showing up more than ever on digital marketing agency Boca Raton. And Amber, thank you so much for being such a nice host.
Oh,
I love coming to work there.
I met you at Creative Mornings, right? Our open house, and since then, it's been such a joy working with you.
It's probably been close to 4 years.
Has it been?
But it feels much longer, right?
Yeah,
it feels like a decade.
It's like we're a married couple when we work.
It feels like a decade, yeah.
We work well together, and then we start fighting. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I guess you can say that.
We're in the midst of it.
Yes. So
when you don't listen to me, just kidding.
What did you say something? So Amber, aside from co-working space and Flamingo House, I know you have an exciting startup which is AI powered. Aside from that, you have a branding company, right? DocuBrand. Tell me a little more about it, and then we'll get into it. How did you start it?
So you're talking about DocuBrand?
DocuBrand, yeah.
So I was formerly an editor at ESPN, then became a coordinating producer for the Miami Heat, senior promotions producer, editor for Fox Sports Florida, then left to do my own company, was doing video and branding, was branding Autograph Collection hotels, which if you don't know much about branding, it's, the hotels are dirt. There's nothing there, and the story, I say, is in the dirt. So we create brand books for this, which is logos, naming, narrative, all the story, the thought that goes through the interior design and the architecture as well. So was doing a ton of that. And then was working out of my home office, 4 people working out of my home, dogs barking when I'm on the phone with the client, and was like, okay, we need a work solution and get out of the home. And the Flamingo House spawned. Through that, was working with startups, and startups maybe necessarily don't have the budget, but they need the branding. And we were trying to, at that time, this was 7 years ago, we knew that, a tech-forward business would be more sustainable, help the startup have a more affordable, quicker way of getting to a certain point. And our agency was doubling up on work a lot. So we created Brand Starter Kit, which is a do-it-yourself branding platform. And you can get a brand book in minutes, not months. And that spawned from basically, these high-end clients were paying $75,000 for a brand book. Brand books range from $10,000 to $75,000. Now the startup needs that same product, but the budget isn't there as much. But it really is the same process when you're doing branding. And so we simplified it so much that the user can do it and get to a quicker point, as well as agencies can do multiple brand books for their clients and white label it.
Yeah, and I actually utilize your brand book platform to come up with a couple of brand books for my clients or my prospects. I mean, you combined decades worth of experience into a SaaS, which is software as a service product. It's a web-based, cloud-based solution that anybody can just go in, go through the wizard, and then at the end you get a solid, professional PDF file that has your brand voice, your brand narrative, your color palette, your mission statement. It just saves tens and thousands of dollars.
And how much time did it save you? It saved weeks,
it took me, of course, yeah, if we would develop the brand book from scratch, it would take us like weeks, probably days into a week. And it took us maybe 10 to 20 minutes to go through the exercise. It actually allowed us to think, and my clients went through it. And in the end, they have a starting point to take their company from scratch to a polished brand book. And then, you're obviously offering the next step into the branding, which is the logo design, the images. But your brand starter kit actually includes the images or potential images, right?
Yeah, so it lays the foundation to a certain extent, and then you can hit the ground running, where then now your web designer knows what your tone and personality and style aesthetic is. And then you have your PR person, here's an electronic press kit. Oh, here's an investor deck. It's all the elements in this digital product, a PDF, that is a brand book. And it's just, really the foundational item that most companies need and to hit the ground running. And as a refresh, just to organize those brand nuggets in your head.
Yeah, so Amber, how long did it take you to come up with this idea and make it a reality? I know you have a partner, Courtney. You guys been living and sleeping this idea for years.
Yes.
I know you had this idea probably 7 years ago. You just made it a reality. But how long the process? How long, if somebody's listening to this type of startup, like software as a service, how long does it take for you to make it real?
Well, now, fortunately for other people, it is much faster than it took us. And, we self-funded. So to be honest, from architecting the, how it would work, to figuring out the tech partner, to then we designed the flats for them, the front end.
The user experience, like the visuals, right?
Correct. And then on, finding the right tech partner. And then that, process took a while. And then we had tech consultants, we leaned into you a lot too, But tech consultants of like the question of, do we use ChatGPT or do we use Google? Who's going to win and gobble up that game? Or is OpenAI going to win? You know, it's all those elements that you have to consider, which helped us further our tech faster later. So now other people creating a SaaS, it will be a lot more lightning speed than the years it took us to build.
So that actually is a good point. Right now, since you have the version 1, to take it to version 2 and 3 and beyond, the development speed is just going to be light speed at this point, because all the AI tools that you didn't have before when you started, now you can build upon new features and new options as you go, right? I'm sure you said you're mentioning you're developing like an agency version, you're doing like a white label. Is that true?
Yes, and then agencies can do multiple brand books and white label it for their clients, as we've done with you. And then universities can use it as a tool, or enterprises who maybe need larger sub-brands, so like more brand books. So the universities use it as a tool with their students. Thousands of kids can use it and learn along the way, because it's a fun little teaching tool throughout it. So you're learning about branding. So the university function is ready as well, and that's fun too. So you have the freelancers, the startup, you have the freelancer agency, and then you have the university. So those customer segments can all
three different pillars. But what's your eventual goal with this company? Where do you want to take it, and what's your 5-year plan about it? Like, how long do you want to stay in this business, and what's your eventual goal about it?
Well, I think AI and the future of AI is going to dictate a lot of that, in a way of, hey, what features can we add to help enhance this faster than we are moving, and those kind of things. So we're excited about the next step, which is the go-to-market that we just launched, and then now scaling, so within the customer segments that we talked about.
The universities, the agencies, the white label. So make sure you go to brandstarterkit.com and take it for a test drive. And I also appreciate all the business you're pushing to media components. With the pipeline AMP implementation, we're working on email marketing strategies and just making sure people get alerted when there's a new update or a message, an email message that needs to get sent. We're appreciate to be a strategic partner with that.
Yes, thank you for helping us set up our sales click funnel and all of the behind the scenes integration.
It's been fun, learning and collaborating. So speaking of collaborating, Amber, I know we've been working on many projects here in the Boca on video production. With your background with ESPN, being an award-winning editor and producer, you brought me on board and my team to really help you with videography and editing and AI and drone and all that stuff. And projects like, we worked on a private school fundraiser video. We actually worked on some city-related walkability videos. What do you think our future in the next year looks like?
One, I love working with you. You are a godsend to come in and really, I say people have to wear multiple hats, or else, where we are today, you really have to wear multiple hats. And Denis, you wear it so well, where you're so talented, that you're not just talented, but reliable and all the things. So stepping back with Brand Certificate and the Flamingo House, there's a lot going on. So, we're only picking up special projects. Yeah. So I do feel that we're picking up projects that make sense and are intentional to what we believe in. So one is placemaking for downtown Boca Raton, and those kind of projects that are coming our way. I do feel like a future documentary is in our future. I don't know how near, but I want to do. We've done these mini documentaries before that are so fun and short, but I don't know what it is on
There's a lot of stories yet to be told about Boca and the special people that live here.
Yes.
That really, what excites me is meeting and learning interesting stories about people that were born here, they grew up here, they migrated here. We actually have a really talented architecture that transformed the look of Boca Raton.
Addison Meisner.
Addison Meisner, Juan, I'm talking about Juan actually.
Juan Caicedo. Juan Caicedo, one of the most brilliant architects.
Taking a plane to Colombia, right, and do a possible documentary and tell his life story because he developed so many interesting architects.
Some people just talk and you're in the presence of greatness, you feel it exudes. And I feel like with Juan Caicedo in particular is like the modern day Addison Meisner who built Boca Raton. And I really have the goosebumps right now, I'm not kidding, that when he speaks, it's poetic, and you're almost like, well, you have to like, one, we have to tell your story. We have to relay what you're saying because there's so much substance and beauty into the architecture and poetry and how placemaking and how that galvanizes communities. So like, yeah,
It just would be
hopefully
a
we'll go to
shame
Columbia
not
soon.
to share the vision and the story, because once you
Yes.
document it, it's there forever. But if nobody knows about it, it's just a shame not to share this message.
I heard this from Gary Vee recently. I believe it was Gary Vee, that he said storytellers are one of the most highest demand jobs, where their salaries now have jumped up and leaped up because the need and the demand for storytelling, a narrative, and people, everyone has a story and every company needs a story. You need to tell it, and you need to tell it in a provocative way, in a beautiful way, in a narrative, where it has substance and poetic it could be, or however, whether you're a product or a company or physical or online or however, there's stories to be told. You need to tell the story to be more effective in business.
I agree. It's all about having a unique, interesting, attention-grabbing story that people will resonate and engage with. Because there's so much noise out there, and it's all about grabbing attention. That's really what Gary Vee says. You know, it's
Attention is money.
Attention economy.
Economy.
That's
there we
what
go.
he actually wrote a book. Shout out Gary Vee. But I agree with you, and I really thank you for you being such a talented storyteller, because you write those scripts, you produce the storyline, and I just come with the camera and my drone and just press a button and it's done. But really, the genius behind it is coming up with the narrative, with the storyline, and then us putting it into digital format. That's really what resonates with people, and now we can share the message, share the story.
The pre-production is so important of how do you envision it? Now, how does it break down into the timing of the day? The sun, where's the sun going to be coming from on that angled shot? And laying that out so we can all have a very smooth shoot. And you make the shoot so smooth the day of. I make it smooth prior.
It's the pre-production what makes it easy at the production.
Yes.
Yes. So Amber, the Flamingo House right now, your co-working space, it's like version 2.0, because you had one before. And now with technology and a lot of things are coming out, you've been kind of hinting that you're going to take it to the next level, maybe next year, as you get the right funding, the right partners, the right investors. Can you give us a little bit of a sneak peek what's going to happen next year possibly?
Yeah, the future of workspace is changing, has changed, and we, as being entrenched as a co-working operator, have noticed a lot of things that we're like, this has got to change, and this can be so much better. And so it has to do with commercial real estate and the co-working operator. The landlords and operator right now are one, but we can help make their bottom line, enhance it by 20%, and a new co-working model tweak. And the way that what we're working on is bringing in strategic investors for something that can help. Basically, it's like an Airbnb for co-working, and it helps other co-working spaces take it to another level. But it gives, there's more to it, where someone like a Denis, who is a long stakeholder at a co-working space, can win as well. So it's very interesting. We stumbled upon it and been, again, building it out for years, until now we feel ready to dive into those strategic investor meetings, and that's what we're working on for the next chapter, which is really exciting, which is the future of workspace.
It's been just interesting staying by and looking through all your presentations, because I think it's revolutionary what you're going to develop for the co-working space, and people can actually become a part investor or owner of that space. And then, I won't give away too many secrets or the secret formula, but just stay tuned for the Flamingo House version 3.0. And as far as Boca Raton, the city itself, there's a lot of controversy where the city might go. People want to leave it as like a small village town, but there's a lot of people coming in and they want to build and they want new things coming to the city. So it's like a mixed feelings, but while I do enjoy like a small town feel with a lot of people coming in, I think the infrastructure has to change. Specifically, with Palmetto Drive, there's a lot of traffic. That's one of the projects we've kind of been working on, is working with the key decision makers and people that want to expand the city in the right way, right?
Yeah. I mean, what the group we're working with is working on something that could be landing right here where we're sitting, in a sense of walkability, connectivity, and placemaking. We have Brightline here, right? Coming from Miami for Lauderdale to West Palm, stops in Boca Raton, but why are people getting off? If they get off Brightline and to come to Boca Raton, how do they now get over 2 highways to get to the beautiful Sanborn Square and Meisner Park, Royal Palm Place? So having that thought, it's a very long-term play, as we know, that what can Palmetto look like where it's more walkable? How do we slow down traffic? So we're working a lot behind the scenes with some the biggest people in town that are, civil engineers, architects, brilliant people that we just got pulled in for marketing and branding, and humbled for that, because story is important for the town of Boca Raton to keep intentionally building. Obviously growth and development's going to happen. We want it to happen intentionally. And that's what placemaking and all those things that we're working on
It's
is about.
Interesting, and I appreciate you pulling in myself and my company into it, because coming from Philadelphia, where it's very like urban, this is like a paradise in Boca Raton, and I just enjoy working in such a beautiful city where it's not really work, it's like enjoyable. Every day you come into the Flamingo House, there's always somebody new you can meet. There's always exciting, a bunch of iguanas walking around.
Well, I say the small town feels, right? We just had the holiday parade. We've been having that holiday street parade for years, and didn't it feel like small town feels, but then when you're going to work the next day, you kind of feel in this like mini little city. So it's suburban, but Boca Raton's growing rapidly, but we just want more intentional growth, and I think that we could still have those small town feels.
I think it's important to not consider such a big city. We got to keep it really homey.
Yeah, there's story in the city that we are on, and we just need to stay rooted in that story.
Stay rooted? Yeah. Obviously, Amber's more eloquent than me. I gotta start speaking my native tongue. Amber, cheers.
Cheers.
Here's to the best 2026. I appreciate you bringing me on all the exciting projects.
Thank you for having me here.
And thanks for hopping on this Digital Edge podcast. One on many, hopefully next year.
Cheers.
Cheers.